Up until my late teens, I never had to worry about my purpose. I never even had to think about it. All I just did was live through whatever giftings and talents that I had, and I enjoyed it. But then when I got to my 20s and I got so involved in church, purpose became something because it was constantly talked about in church. It became something that I became fully aware of, and I began to think about it and I asked myself, what is my purpose? But then the error I made was I constantly linked my purpose with working in the church. That so basically I thought, okay, maybe my purpose is to be a pastor, a missionary, a children's church teacher, so on, or a worker in church. And because of this, it took me so much longer to understand and know my purpose until I discovered, until I stumbled into a scripture in the Bible. And this scripture changed my life completely. So today in Life 360, I will be walking you through my journey on how I discovered purpose. Now, when you buy a brand new car, do you ever wonder what this car is for? As expected, we all know what a car is for. It's to move you from point A to point B. But the interesting thing is, as simple as that is, there are certain functions within the car that some of us will never ever know unless we sit down to actually read the manual or explore the car. For example, many cars today has got what is known as a cruise control. But how many of us actually do use it? Now, when you get used to when you buy your brand new car, you play around with it, you find some buttons that you love. And if you're like me, you stay away from the cruise control button because, nah, God forbid that I should not be in control of my own car. And I will not use a cruise control. Now, but then it doesn't stop the cruise control from existing in the car, but it just means that that purpose will never be achieved because the owner of that car refuses to use it. Anyway, now nature has shown us from birth that we're explorers. When you look at a newborn baby, from the time that they are born, as they grow up, you notice that one thing a baby does is they are on a mission to discovery. They explore every little thing from their fingers to their feet. They play around with everything. And when they discover their hands, you know what their hands they constantly play with their hands or it's always going into their mouth. Even when they discover their feet, they play with their feet, it goes into their mouth. That's what we do as babies. Now, as we get older, you will notice that kids have different, are drawn to different things. There's some that just enjoy pulling things apart and then they put it back together, while some are just drawn to the kitchen. They just want to play with the pots and the pans. Some just love to take a crayon and paint around the walls. We are all different, and what we're all drawn to differs. Now, if parents are observant, they will notice that every child is unique and every child displays some certain abilities. They begin to display certain talents and gifts. And one thing I will tell you is those gifts, those talents, those things that you see your child displaying, oftentimes is a key to what that child's purpose on earth is. Because why would you need certain things if it's not linked to why you have been created? Now, for example, we do have some children who are drawn to the arts. But you know what happens as we all grow up? The story of our lives. A child is drawn to the arts, but the parents have got their own plans and they want this child to become a doctor. So they steer that child towards medicine. And then the child becomes a medical doctor. But somehow that child does not feel fulfilled. And you wonder, 2 years down the line, 5 years down the line, that child drops medicine and becomes an artist. I know of people who went to medical school, became doctors, but have never worked one day in their lives of doctors. One became a graphic designer, making loads of money from it. Another one became a baker. And you would wonder, how do you go from medicine to baking? But that is what they found joy in. That was for them their purpose. But don't get me wrong, there are some who are called to be doctors. And when you meet them, you know that there is a passion in them, in the way they approach medicine. It's so different. Reminds me of my time of me working as a physiotherapist. At a point in time, I knew that this was my calling because it had gone past just a profession. It was me when I related with my patients. I saw myself as someone on a mission, bringing hope, bringing joy, bringing peace to people, giving them a reason to look forward to tomorrow. So every time I went out to see my patients, I knew I would not be giving them minimum of me. Rather, I'll be giving them the best of me because for me, my job at that point in time had become purpose. Now, the role of parents can never be underestimated in helping children discover their purpose. You wonder why some kids, for example, the Williams sisters, we all know them. These girls excelled in the world of tennis, but it took their parents to be able to groom that gift in them. We know Lewis Hamilton ruling the world of racing, motor car racing. If his father had not identified this gift in him and helped him to develop it, I doubt if we'll be talking about Lewis Hamilton today. So, what am I saying? That parents, we shouldn't be so quick to want to push our own personal agendas on our children, but rather we should take time to see these children for who they are as individuals, understand the gifts and the blessings that has been put in them and help them develop it. And you will be surprised that as they develop those gifts and these talents, they will end up growing into men and women living a life of purpose. So now we find ourselves in a situation whereby many of us are not living a life of purpose. Many of us have found ourselves in a place where we are asking, how did I get where I am? How did I get here? Why am I doing what I'm doing? You discover that you do not have joy. You do not derive pleasure in what you're doing. And you're telling yourself, there must be more to life than this. There has to be more. Guess what? That is purpose calling out to you. Yes. So if you're in a state where you're beginning to feel dissatisfied with your life as it is, and you have a longing for more, purpose is calling you. If you have a feeling like you're living someone else's life, that you're not living your own life, you're living someone else's dream, that is purpose calling onto you. There is an inner voice in all of us, and that inner voice is telling you that you need to do more. That inner voice is telling you to get out of wherever you are and to take courage and step into something new. That is purpose calling onto you. So, my dear, you find out that purpose is not so difficult after all, because that is something that has been inbuilt in us. Each and every one of us have got a purpose. Nobody on earth lives without purpose. We may not have discovered what it is, but each and every one of us have got a purpose, and do not let any other person tell you otherwise. There's nobody who is useless, there's nobody who is worthless. We all have a purpose, and as long as we all have a purpose, there is a reason for us to live on. We are worth it.